Hi everybody, it's Caroline Quibell with Roaming RV once again, and today our topic is going to be establishing an RVer's budget. You know, every prospective full-time RVer asks the same question when they're considering the full-time RV lifestyle. How much will it cost? And unfortunately, I wish there was, but there isn't just one answer, okay? Every person will have different expenses depending upon what their needs are and wants, and it's similar to most people who live in a regular house. We all have different needs and wants. So the cost of the home or your RV, whether you live frugally or in luxury, will affect actually how much it's going to cost you to be on the road full time. It's up to the individual. No one else can tell you how much it's going to cost you. But there are some regular expenses that everyone encounters that so that you have to consider and think about when you're planning your budget. Okay, so in order to plan your budget, let's assume that your RV has been purchased, you've paid for it, you have no debt. You've also have a tow vehicle. You know, if you're driving a motorhome, you've got a pull vehicle that's paid for. All your gadgets for the RV, your bikes, your computer, sports equipment, camera, whatever you need for this lifestyle has been bought and paid for. So you're not starting out with a debt. I'm not saying you can't, but I'm saying that for this purposes of this, let's consider the fact that you're debt-free. Okay, so the first expense, probably one of the biggest, is fuel. And no doubt it's probably going to be expensive, but it will depend entirely on how much actual traveling you're doing and the size of the RV. If you travel more, the expense is going to be higher. By having a tow vehicle behind you, if you're in a motorhome, or if you have bikes or a motorcycle, that might help keep your sightseeing or running errand expenses for your fuel much more economical, okay? When you're planning a route, calculate the distance against the average price per liter for fuel that's being charged in your area at that time, and you should have a close idea of what the costs are going to be. But don't forget to add fuel costs for your tow vehicle and any touring that you might do. Next expense, big on the list, is campground fees. Now, if you're going to stay in a luxury resort, then the campground costs are going to be high. But if boondocking, then they'll all be almost next to nothing. Or you can mix a combination of the two. If you're staying in a campground, the prices range anywhere from $15 to $50 a night for most campgrounds. And prices should be less if you're staying longer, for a longer period of time, okay? If you stay in a place for a month, then you ask what their monthly rate is and negotiate, okay? There could also be a weekly rate, depending upon the situation, but ask. Don't forget to ask. The prices will also depend on the time of the year and the region you're in. Now, if it's high season and extremely busy, then the prices are going to be higher. So consider traveling off-season when the rates are cheaper and the crowds are less. The next thing on our list is propane. Now, the cost of the propane is going to depend on how much cooking is done and whether you use propane for your refrigerator or a barbecue or anything else, okay? And it'll also depend on whether you're heating your unit with propane in a cold weather climate. So, but if it's not winter time and you're just talking general use for a stove and your barbecue and maybe your fridge, I would budget $30 a month. It's probably quite realistic, but that's a good place to start anyway. Now, your vehicle insurance and maintenance for your vehicle will also depend on the type of the RV or vehicle that you have. A motorhome pulling a towed will have two vehicles to insure and maintain, while a truck pulling a fifth wheel or a trailer will only have one vehicle and a trailer to insure. So living full-time in the RV will also increase the rate. And by not letting your insurance agent know the fact that you are living in it full-time could make your policy void. You know, it's just not worth not being honest More and more insurance companies are becoming more familiar with full-time living and are trying to be accommodating for us. So, you know, be honest. That's all I can say. Okay. So whether you pay monthly or yearly, average the amount out over 12 months and include that in your monthly budget. Regular maintenance will prevent major problems and reduce your costs overall. So budget for that as well. And we're talking like oil changes and winter tires and such. So just estimate what you feel it's going to cost. Well, unfortunately, we all like to eat. So your food bill is the next thing that you have to budget for. And really, it probably will be similar to your regular food bill when you're living in a house, unless your eating habits change when you're on the road. But you can keep your costs down by using coupons, watching for specials, and you have more time for food preparation to use fresh ingredients. So that might help reduce your costs. But if your food bill is $400 a month monthly or $600 a month each month, it'll probably be close to the same in your RV. Now, everybody has to wash their clothes, and 3 or 4 loads per week is plus the cost of soap would be about average. So washers are range anywhere from $1.25 to $2 a load. Dryers will be at least $2 a load. That'll depend on what's being dried, whether it's heavy towels, heavy blue jeans and such. But make sure you include laundry in your monthly budget. The other one that's fairly expensive are cell phones, communication systems, satellite TV, internet. Shop around. That's all I could say. Look for the best deals and talk to other RVers. This is really important. It's not a luxury anymore. It's a necessity. And you've got to stay in touch. So figure out a plan that works for you. Make sure there's coverage and include that in your monthly budget. The next thing is medical and dental insurance and your prescriptions. This will also depend on the individual and whether you need prescriptions or what type of medical plan you have. So include that in your budget as well. Now, don't forget entertainment and gifts, okay? Include dining out. If you like to eat out, budget for it. Just, if you have a long list of birthday gifts that you buy every year or you purchase, Christmas, any functions that you think you might be attending, it'll also depend on the individual budget and what you do normally. So include entertainment and gifts in your monthly budget. Personal expenses. Everyone is different once again, but this I classify as for haircuts, toiletries, spas, if you get your nails done, anything to do with that. Add that into your monthly budget too. Now, not all of us have a pet, but if you do, you have to budget for their food, grooming, inoculations, and any other regular expenses that you might have for your dog or cat, whatever's traveling with you. Now, RV club memberships, they can help reduce your campground fees, or they may even, like a membership might offer you a discount on insurance or anything else. So once again, shop around, find out what works for you, what's applicable for your situation, and include RV club memberships or clubs or whatever you belong to, okay? Now, emergencies and savings. Make sure this is a regular amount and place it in an emergency fund or a savings account, because by planning ahead and for emergencies, you're not going to be caught unaware, okay? Be realistic on what you think your monthly expenses are going to be when you're planning your budget. You don't want any surprises later on down the road. It'll go a long way to ensuring your adventure is a positive one and your RV budget, more importantly, is balanced. So once again, I hope this information has helped you. And it's Caroline Quibell with Roaming RV, and we'll talk to you again. Thank you.